15 largest economies in Africa in 22 by nominal GDP. The nominal GDP is a measure of a country's economic output based on current prices. It determines the monetary value of goods and services generated over a period of time. It does not, however, account for the rate of inflation. As a result, it can sometimes overestimate a country's growth rate. For decision-making and policy guidance, ranking African countries by GDP assists all essential stakeholders in undertaking and understanding the continent's largest economies. For a number of reasons, economists, policymakers, political leaders, corporations, ordinary residents, and other stakeholders are interested in learning which African country or economy is the most powerful. Some people want to know where they should invest, while others want to foresee a country's economic future. Hello viewers, welcome to another informative video on the channel. If you're new here, ensure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so as to be notified on our future uploads. Without any further delays, here is the countdown of the 15 largest economies in African countries by nominal GDP in 2022. 15. Tunisia, $42.73 billion. Tunisia is ranked 15th amongst African countries in terms of GDP. The country has numerous resources that enable it to function and thrive. Petroleum mining is one of them. The country's oil reserves are estimated to be 425 million barrels, or 12 times its annual usage. Mining iron ore and phosphate also generates revenue for the country. Another important addition to the country's economy is agribusinesses. Agriculture makes a considerable contribution to the nation's gross domestic product. Wheat and barley are the principal crops grown, while olives, dates, fresh fruits, and domestic animals are also grown by farmers for export and domestic consumption. 14. Uganda, $43.24 billion. Uganda is a country in East Africa led by President Yoweri Museveni. Agriculture, the service sector, and industry are the pillars of the country's economy. A substantial number of Ugandans work as small and big-scale farmers. Coffee, cotton, tea, sugar, livestock, edible oils, tobacco, fish, plantains, corn, beans, and cassava are amongst other crops they produce or keep. The country's tourism industry has risen dramatically over the last decade. Professional, insurance, accounting, and construction services have been the backbone of the economy, bringing in the significant revenue of the country. Construction, formal manufacturing, mining, quarrying, energy provision, informal manufacturing, and water supply are all parts of the country's industrial sector. Citizens have benefited from the informal manufacturing subsector, which has created several jobs. Formal industries employ a sizable portion of the population as well. 13. Cameroon, $44.81 billion. Cameroon has a diverse economic profile, making it the continent's 13th largest economy. Oil and gas mining are the greatest earners, despite the fact that cash comes from a variety of sources. Oil accounts for almost 40% of the country's exports. Furthermore, it features a natural gas-powered electricity producing facility, which plays an important role. Farming generates a considerable amount of revenue for the country, as it does for most African countries. Coffee, cotton, cocoa, bananas, rubber, oilseed, grains, and cassava are the principal crops grown in the country. In addition, people rear animals and exact timber. The manufacturing and service sectors are also vital to the economy. Aluminium production, food processing, textiles, light consumer goods, lumber, and ship maintenances are all part of the industry sector, in addition to petroleum production and refining. Number 12. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, $54.83 billion. Natural resources and wealth are in abundance in the DRC. Corruption and civil wars, on the other hand, have hampered its development for decades. Despite these difficulties, the economy of the country continues to function and flourish. Agriculture is one of the most common sources of income in most households. Tea, coffee, sugar, peanuts, palm oil, corn, rubber, cotton, cocoa, quinine, cassava, bananas, plantains, fruits, and wood products are amongst the crops grown by farmers. Another is the mining sector, which uses copper, coltan, cobalt, gold, tin, diamonds, zinc, and tungsten as its primary minerals. It also covers the manufacture of consumer goods such as textiles, plastics, footwear, and cigarettes, as well as the processing of foods and beverages and the repair of commercial ships. The expanding service industry also contributes significantly to the economy. Number 11. Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, $68.84 billion. Agriculture is a major source of income for the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. Farmers make up almost 2/3 of the population, and the Republic is the world's largest producer and exporter of cocoa beans. Coffee, bananas, corn, palm kernels, rice, cassava, rubber, sweet potatoes, sugar, timber, and cotton are also produced and exported. Food and beverage processing, textiles and wood products, gold mining, oil refining, and truck and bus assembly are amongst the country's industries. Unfortunately, the civil war in 2011 halted economic development. However, the country is making efforts toward recovery and its service sector is expanding rapidly. Number 10. Tanzania, $69.24 billion. Tanzania's economy has risen dramatically during the last 2 decades, particularly in the areas of telecommunications, energy, finance, and mining. The country is rich in natural resources, including tourism opportunities. Agriculture employs around 65% of the workforce, with the most important crops being coffee, tobacco, sisal, corn, tea, cotton, cashew nuts, pyrethrum, cloves, wheat, cassava, fruits and vegetables, cattle, sheep, and goats, which are also raised by farmers. Agricultural processing of plants are thriving in the industry. Diamond, salt, gold, soda ash, and iron mining generate a substantial amount of revenue for the country. Another important industry is the service providing, which accounts for 47.6% of the GDP. Number 9. Angola, $70.34 billion. Angola's economy is primarily driven by the oil industry, which accounts for over half of the country's GDP and 90% of its exports. Unlike many African countries, the country imports nearly half of its food. Nonetheless, bananas, coffee, sugarcane, sisal, cassava, corn, cotton, tobacco, plantains, and vegetables are grown by many subsistence farmers, while others rear animals and fish as well. The aftermath of the country's 27-year civil war, which destroyed infrastructure and left open landmines, is still being felt. Petroleum refining, diamond, iron ore, gold, phosphate, bauxite, feldspar, and uranium mining, fish and food processing, brewing and textiles are some of the industries in the country. Number 8. Ghana, $75.49 billion. Ghana is rich in natural resources and operates on a market economy with few trade restrictions. Many of its residents are subsistence farmers who own small plots of land. Agricultural activities account for around 18.3% of the country's GDP. Cassava, cocoa, rice, peanuts, and shea nuts, corn, and bananas are the principal crops grown. Mining, food processing, light manufacturing, forestry, aluminium, smelting, and small commercial shipbuilding enterprises are among the expanding industry sectors. The service industry, on the other hand, accounts for more than half of the country's earnings. 7. Ethiopia, $92.76 billion. Ethiopia has the continent's lowest level of income inequalities. Infrastructure, agriculture, and service industries sustain the country's planned economy. About 70% of the population is employed in agriculture: coffee, cereals, cotton, oilseed, sugarcane, vegetables, cattle, skins, sheep, goats, and fish, which are among the agricultural items produced in the sector. Food processing, beverage production, textiles, leather, chemical, and metal processing businesses make up for the industrial sector. Each year, the services industry generates a substantial amount of gross revenue. 6. Kenya, $109.49 billion. Kenya is known as East Africa's financial, commercial, and transportation hub because the country's economy has risen greatly over the last 2 decades. It is currently classified as a lower middle-income earner. It was formerly thought to have the fastest growing economy in Africa. Its economic situation is more promising, but corruption is a hindrance. Tea, maize, coffee, wheat, fruits, sugarcane, vegetables, meat, fish, dairy products, pork, poultry, and eggs are the most important crops and animal products produced in this economy. Food processing enterprises, plastic, furniture, aluminium, steel, lead, and cement manufacturing firms, and commercial ship repair are only a few of the small and large-scale industries in the country. The service sector accounts for around 47.7% of the country's gross domestic product. 5. Morocco, $126.04 billion. Morocco's economy is open and market-oriented thanks largely to its closeness to Europe. Agriculture, tourism and aerospace and automobile manufacturing, phosphate mining, textiles and apparel, and transportation are the main sources of revenue. Agriculture accounts for around 15% of the economy, with barley, citrus fruits, wheat, grapes, vegetables, and olives being the most common crops. The services sector accounted for almost 56% of the gross domestic product. Number 4. Algeria, $163.81 billion. Algeria possesses the world's 10th largest natural gas reserves. The country is primarily reliant on hydrocarbons, which accounts for nearly all of its export revenue. The agricultural industry accounts for 13.2% of these earnings. Wheat, oats, barley, citrus fruits, and grapes are the principal crops grown. Industries accounts for around 36.1% of total earnings. Petroleum and natural gas plants, light industries, electrical plants, and petrochemical facilities, and food processing firms are the primary industries. Number 3. South Africa, $329.60 billion. Because it is designated as an upper middle income country, many people believe that South Africa has the greatest economy in Africa in terms of GDP. However, in terms of nominal GDP, it is rated third. The country boasts abundant natural resources as well as well-developed financial, communications, legal, transportation, and energy industries. Every year, the services industry provides around 67.5% of overall earnings. The industrial sector, on the other hand, contributes around 29.7%, with mining, automotive assembly, machinery, metals, textiles, food processing, and commercial ship maintenance being the most important. Agriculture accounts for only about 2.8% of total profits. Wheat, corn, sugarcane, vegetables, and fruits are the principal crops farmed in South Africa. Number 2. Egypt, $396.33 billion. By nominal GDP, Egypt will be Africa's second largest economy in 2022. The Nile Valley is the center of economic activity in this country. This economy is driven by manufacturing, agriculture, hydrocarbons, tourism, and the service sector. Agricultural operations account for about 11.9% of company revenue. Rice, cotton, corn, wheat, fruits, legumes, and vegetables are commonly grown by farmers. Cattle, sheep, water, buffaloes, and goats are also kept. Textiles, tourism, food processing, pharmaceuticals, construction, hydrocarbons, and light manufacturing are the primary industries. Number 1. Nigeria, $480.48 billion. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa with a nominal GDP of $480.48 billion. Nigeria's economy has grown steadily over the previous decade, making it one of Africa's most powerful economies. Unfortunately, the country suffered its worst economic downturn in 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic's effects. Despite the fact that oil exports account for up to 80% of the country's exports, prices have dropped and plummeted. The administration is currently putting in place measures to help the economy recover. Aside from oil, agriculture accounts for around 22% of the country's GDP, with the service, tourism, and transportation industries also contributing significantly. There you have it, viewers. Hope you found this video informative enough, and if you're new here, ensure to hit that subscription button. Give us a like while turning on the notification so as to be notified on the future uploads. Thanks for watching.